That's just something to think about. And I heard another question was, what time is it?
11:14.
14, okay. Y'all have about 15 more minutes or 10?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. As I've been told that if I come out here today and I told you guys that I wanted to be saved, I wanted to know that if I died today, that I would be saved. I'd either go to paradise or heaven. You know, I've been told that you couldn't do that in one day.
Well, I don't know that we could tell you that you were saved. I mean, what we feel like is, you know, at a certain time when the kingdom comes to do away with the badness here on the earth, there will be ones who are faithful, who will live through that. And some, even at that time, who are going to go to heaven will go to heaven. And so then after that, there will be a resurrection of ones who died, who perhaps didn't get a chance to fully comprehend their decision. And so we feel like there will be a resurrection of the good and the bad. And that's kind of a judgment of God. You know, some people are too bad to resurrect, but,
Right.
You know, for the most part.
He's the judge of hearts.
So what we feel like, if you came today and you said, I really think Jehovah's Witnesses is true, and, you know, I want to be saved, you know, we could talk with you or whatever. And if you died that night, then, you know, God's really the judge of that. I can't really say, well, yeah, he did get saved before he died. We could say, you know, at least he had a good attitude, and he was looking for God there at the very end, so it's really in his hands.
And he paid for his sins when he died.
Huh?
And he paid for his sins at death. So
Oh,
leave that with Jehovah.
the
for the
person,
rest.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, I forgot about that. Y'all believe that's the payment of sin there in Romans 6, right? When you're dead.
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, but, you know, there are some things that won't be forgiven.
The sin against the Spirit.
So
So you
like
could,
Judas.
would you be a Jehovah Witness though, in one day? I mean, do you have to be a Jehovah Witness to be right with God, to be saved?
If you want to get right down to it, if we would think that you would have to be looking to God.
I know that's a hard question.
No, I'd say if you died, if you were looking for the true religion or true God, or to have a relationship with God, you have a very good chance of being resurrected and given the information after you're resurrected and you make another decision. So we view that as when the resurrection occurs during that 1,000-year reign, then people they'll have another option. They're like, now you don't have the whole corrupt world pushing in on you. You have opposite peer pressure to be good. What decision you want to make. And in that decision, you can either choose to follow God or you choose, well, this ain't for me, and then God will probably kill you, right?
So it's kind of like a purgatory. You get a second chance.
You get a second chance, but this is, you know, after the earth has been cleansed and it's made into that paradise, then a resurrection will begin at some point or whatever. And those people that are resurrected, they get a second chance.
Okay.
To study and come to know God. Some people, you know, their lives were cut short before they even had that opportunity.
You think everybody is liable to obey or not?
No. If you're killed at Armageddon, then that's it.
Because that's God's word. He
Well,
saw it as
I'm talking about for today. I'm not
Yeah,
talking about Armageddon.
if you die before Armageddon, then we feel like you're in that period of time where you can get a second chance.
That is I don't believe in the Armageddon future tense thing, but I'm talking about today, like people in Africa that don't know who God is.
We got brothers and sisters there too.
But, I mean, maybe they haven't met to them.
Right.
Right.
Are they accountable?
If they haven't had the opportunity to know,
It's according to when you die. If Armageddon, when Armageddon comes and the earth was cleansed.
I'm talking about people that are dying tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right. Well,
Or
if you
before
didn't-
up to this Armageddon.
Right, if you didn't get a chance, what we view is if you just didn't do something incredibly bad, then God will resurrect you and you will get a second chance.
Okay.
Now, the only people,
Everybody's gonna take that second chance.
if they don't die,
But
if
the
they
thing
die
is-
before, see, it's,
And the
if
nice
you
part
want
about
to
it
take a chance.
is Jehovah gets to decide. We don't have to worry about this.
The only
That's not
people-
something I worry about. I guess you do, but I don't.
The only people that we know that won't be resurrected are like Judas, Adam and Eve, you know.
Well, when you say two is like, that's for God to decide. Well, I view it as He has decided, you know, His word.
Right,
Right,
So if He says something in the Bible, He's not
sure.
gonna go back on it.
sure.
Right, okay.
But like, we can't read the hearts is what I'm trying to say, of individuals. Some people put on a good front, you know, but like we had a talk the other night, and he took that Hebrews 4:12, and he was talking about, you know, how the Bible helps you to divide the soul and the spirit, who you are and who you really are. And then he used that in Matthew 5 about anyone looking at a woman so as to have a passion for her in his heart has committed adultery, right? Well, who knows that? Who knows if you did that?
That's true, if
That's
you've
just
already,
you.
if you've already
That would be,
obeyed.
what
you
I'm
know.
saying is that's between you and Jehovah. He examines the hearts. So when you're working on that, you two are working on it together. But, you know, that doesn't mean everybody has to be involved.
Well, let's see
So-
here, in Romans 6:17, it does mention the heart. It says, "But God be thanked that you were servants of sin." Okay, you were servants of sin. Well, if you still serve sin, you know, you're lost. If you're serving sin.
Sure.
It says, "But you obeyed from the heart."
Yes.
That means you have to mean it.
Right.
But the key is you also obeyed, you know.
Right,
Here's
right. Well, I mean, you would be obeying if you didn't, you know, see, what I'm saying is to have control of your mind, who knows if you did that?
Well, God knows.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying you could
That's all
ultimately
I'm
trick
saying.
people,
Yeah, that's all I'm saying too.
but
Is-
you're not tricking anyone if you're not even doing the things that people can see.
Well, now think about this. In the Bible, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they put on boxes, and they went before men, and they said prayers out loud, and they did all these things. But what was lacking?
Well, they did it for men, so they did it to please man,
So who saw it?
both man and God.
Okay. But now, all the wicked stuff, maybe not everything was visible, but who could see it? And eventually
Right.
you can, right? Like
Well,
if it's a rotten tree,
Jesus said
it's gonna
that he could read
produce
their hearts.
rotten fruit, right?
Right, fruit.
So by their fruits you could see it too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what we're saying is, you know, you said, right this day, you've come and you said that. We can't decide that. But
Right, so we
Jehovah
wouldn't be
can.
able to give like a positive statement saying, yeah, we know he was saved because he tried this. We could.
What I was looking for was you to go to the scriptures and say, look, this is what you must do to be saved, you know.
Right.
That's
Well,
what
you
I-
already know that, right?
Well, I don't
I
really
mean-
know what you would have to, I know what the Bible says to be saved, but I don't know what you would teach the Bible says to be saved.
Mhm.
You know, we might have different
Sure.
Well,
teachings on that.
Yeah.
We don't believe in faith
Ultimate-
only, you know.
Right, we
Right.
don't, yeah, we don't either. In fact, Matthew 24:13 really, to us, is what I could, or to
Matthew
me,
24?
in verse 13. I guess is the one that I think about, that comes to my mind anyway, when I think about being saved.
But he that shall endure unto the end, and the same shall be saved.
So,
We just, I would see that as, once you are saved, you know,
Right.
you're not once saved, always saved, you gotta
Right.
endure to the end.
you have to,
Right.
But
that's,
this don't tell you how to be saved.
oh, Well,
Yeah.
I mean, oh, okay, well, that's kind of.
Your initial salvation is what I'm talking about.
Oh, the
You get what I'm
studying of the
saying?
scriptures and getting to know who Jehovah, I mean, we feel like you have to, you have to study
Yes,
and come to know Jehovah. John 17:3, you know, it says that
come to the truth. You have to know the truth.
you have to know
Right.
the Father
Which is a
and
long
the one who
process.
is sent forth. Coming to know,
We
yeah,
say
it's
you
not
have to, so we call it
It's
the
not-
5 steppers.
a.
Have you heard
Oh,
that?
I see.
Okay.
Have you heard
Okay.
that?
Well,
Now give it
probably
to
in
us and we'll see
baptism
if we agree
talks,
with you.
you know, but go ahead.
Hear, you know, must hear the gospel, believe the gospel. You must be willing to repent of your sins.
Yeah,
You know, you can't live in sin.
so you're talking about to be baptized.
That leads up to that. That's the last one.
Right, that's just the
Uh,
symbol for everybody
to
else to see
confess.
it.
And-
Right,
No, we don't believe that that's just a symbol. We believe that you're not saved until you died with Christ through baptism. And I'll show you. We brought up Romans chapter 6. Look at this. And one thing, here in Romans chapter 6, what shall we say? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? God forbid, how shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? So they're dead to sin. In verse 3, know you not that so many of us were baptized into Jesus Christ, were baptized into his death? So that's how you die with Christ there in verse 3. And verse 4, therefore we are buried with him by baptism into death, that like as Christ was raised up from the dead by the glory of the Father, even so we also should walk newness of life. For if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death, how are you planted with him in the likeness of his death?
that would be to be heirs with him. I mean, if you have likeness of his death, his death was,
You're baptized.
Yeah, that's what the text is saying here. We shall be also in the likeness of his resurrection. Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we should not serve sin. Now here's verse 7 is where we have different interpretation. For he that is dead, well, in the context, how are you dead? Remember we read it.
You're saying when you're baptized.
That's what it's saying in the context. Therefore, we are buried with him by baptism into death.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in verse 7, for he that is dead is freed from sin.
Sure.
You know, that makes perfect
Makes
sense.
sense.
In the context, when you're reading it, you're dead by baptism into death. And so, we don't, there's no way that you can be free from sin before you spiritually die in baptism, until you're reborn. Not spiritually die, but die in,
Right.
into Christ. You put into the death, burial, and resurrection with Christ. You can't physically go on a cross and die and resurrect. You can't physically do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's going to be a resurrection, but I'm saying you can't do that right now.
Right.
But you can do it, by baptism,
Yeah.
and that's when you're free from sin. Do you see that a little bit?
I know what you're saying, yeah, I can see what you're saying.
And then there's